Hello, class. Welcome back to biology. So, we have been talking about the movement of water from the roots up the plant, how it can be pushed by the roots, but also how transpiration pulls it up from the roots all the way to the leaves. Then, once it gets to the leaves, there are stomata, or these pores on the leaf tissue. About 95% of the water that is evaporating from a plant is escaping through those stomata. And you can see there are these two green cells here on either side. These two cells are called guard cells. And the guard cells can control how widely open that stomata is. They do that by either bending into this more bean shape, or they can turn into a more straight shape and close the stomata. A lot of this difference in whether they're open or closed is going to be from reversibly taking up or losing potassium. So when those guard cells take in potassium, they will open the stomata because as those ions come in, water will osmose in and the cells will swell. And when the cells swell and fill with water, they get turgid, which causes them to expand into this shape. The cellulose cell walls around them actually force the turgid cells into this shape. When the guard cells lose the potassium, the stomata will close as a result of the guard cells losing water, becoming more flaccid, and covering that pore. It makes a little bit of sense that a guard cell that's full with water would lead to an open stomata because that means there's plenty of water there, that opening the stomata won't cause the plant to dehydrate. But when there's not a lot of water there, a flaccid cell without the water would close that stomata because that means that there's a chance of dehydrating and losing what little bit of water is there. The plant needs to conserve that water, and so the stomata will close. Stomata may open during the day and close at night. A lot of common plants will do this. So during the day, the stomata are open so that carbon dioxide can be pulled into the plant to allow photosynthesis to continue. And then at nighttime, when there's not light, those stomata will close to minimize the loss of water when photosynthesis isn't happening. The stomata can also be triggered by light. So something like a ray of sunshine shining through the clouds or the cloud passing over the sunshine can cause those stomata to open or close, even just for a couple of moments. Carbon dioxide depletion can cause the stomata to open as they need more carbon dioxide to continue photosynthesis. Guard cells also have an internal clock or a circadian rhythm that's set on a 24-hour cycle, just like all eukaryotic cells do, that can help trigger this cycle of stomata opening and closing. Drought stress can cause stomata to close during the daytime, so when they would normally be open to do photosynthesis, they will close to conserve that water so that they don't dehydrate before the drought is over. Even when a plant is developing, the amount of carbon dioxide that is available in its environment can cause more or fewer stomata to be incorporated into those cells on the leaf tissue. And scientists can actually measure the level of carbon dioxide that has been available over the history of our environment by seeing how much stomata are in plant cell fossils. If the water that is being lost by transpiration is not replaced by water transport, then the plants can lose water and they will wilt. Another effect of transpiration is that evaporative cooling. So just like in a person, when your body becomes hot, a lot of that heat is lost by sweating because the cells, that heat can be transferred to water molecules, and the water molecules with the most energy or the most heat are going to be the ones that evaporate and lower your body temperature. The same thing happens. Transpiration will give evaporative cooling in a leaf, lower the temperature of the leaf. That helps the plant cell to stay at a proper temperature for life to prevent denaturation of its enzymes so that photosynthesis and metabolism continue. Plants also can create a hormone called abscisic acid, or ABA. And this is a hormone that is made in response to water deficiency. And when that plant is deficient in water, the ABA will cause the stomata to close and conserve what water is available.
Trees must transport water and minerals to their highest leaves. How does this happen? Interestingly, trees move water by losing water. Evaporation of water from plants is called transpiration. Water diffuses from inside a leaf to the outside air through pores. Inside a leaf are air spaces. Water evaporates constantly from the surfaces of surrounding cells. To better see the water, let's show it in blue. Notice that water forms a film on cell walls, including the walls of cells in leaf veins. Within the veins are hollow, tube-like cells, shown in brown. These cells, also found in stems and roots, are part of a tissue called xylem. Water and minerals are transported from roots to veins through the xylem, and then from veins into the walls of other leaf cells. What maintains this flow? Let's look at the surface of a plant cell. A thin layer of water covers the cell wall. As water evaporates, the cell wall begins to dry out. Look at how water sticks to the cell wall. This is called adhesion. Water molecules also stick to each other. This is called cohesion. Cohesion and adhesion are the results of hydrogen bonds, the dashed lines. Because of cohesion and adhesion, transpiration creates a tension from leaf cells through the xylem to the roots that pulls water molecules up the plant. Now let's look at how water and minerals enter through the roots. Roots are highly branched, creating a lot of area for absorption. Root hairs near each root tip increase the surface area. Water and minerals, shown in yellow, can follow two paths from cell to cell within a root. In one path, they travel in the cytoplasm, which is connected between cells. In the other path, they travel within cell walls. In the path within cell walls, however, they encounter a waxy barrier that blocks entry to the xylem. To continue, the water and minerals must cross a plasma membrane. In this way, only certain minerals can enter the xylem. After moving into the xylem, water and minerals are pulled up to the leaves. Water evaporates from leaf cells into the air spaces inside leaves and exits through pores. And that's how water can reach the highest leaves of a tree.
All right, so just as with anything, there are going to be some organisms that have, through natural selection, found adaptations to specialize in different climates. And xerophytes are plants that have adapted for arid climates or desert climates. In an arid, dry climate, plants are going to have special adaptations to reduce water loss. So they'll have a little bit of differences either in their plant cell structure or in their stomata or in how or when they open their stomata. There are some desert plants that complete their life cycle during the rainy season. So all of their growth, all of their photosynthesis is during the rainy season. And then they don't worry about during the dry season, they are just kind of hibernating. There are some plants that have fleshy stems that store water. Some that have leaf modifications, like that on a cactus, how they have those on a cactus, how it has those spines. Those are leaf modifications that reduce the rate of transpiration. And most of the photosynthesis is going on within the stem of the plant. And then some plants use the CAM pathway. We discussed the CAM pathway last semester when we talked about photosynthesis. The CAM pathway is a specialized form of photosynthesis where the light reactions and the Calvin cycle run at separate times. So while the light reactions are running during the daytime, the stoma are closed in the daytime, they open at night, and the gas exchange will occur at night. All right, that brings us to the end of this little mini lecture about stomata. So you should now be able to describe what are stimuli that control the opening and closing of stomata. If you buy cut flowers, why might the florist recommend cutting the stems underwater and then transferring the flowers to a vase while the cut ends are still wet? And why does evaporation of water from leaves lower the temperature of a plant? We only have a few slides left of this lecture chapter where we are going to talk about phloem. So I'll see you back in a little bit. As always, email me or come visit me during office hours with any questions you may have. I'll see you later. Bye.